elbow. Oh, it's broken.
Hey there fans, what's going on, and welcome back to another video on our channel. Basketball is a fun sport, but sometimes it can cause a lot of pain for the players. From getting an ankle sprain to a broken arm, any player can go through an injury at any moment in their lives. So I guess it's safe to say that these players pretty much risk their lives for our entertainment. However, sometimes these injuries can be so bad that it leaves players in bed for months. So let's take a look at some of the worst basketball injuries of all time. Number 5, Alan Ray's eye injury. A player breaking his knee or elbow is somewhat common in a sport like basketball, but have you ever heard of someone injuring their eye during a game? Yes, you heard us right. We're talking about an eye injury that occurred during a basketball game. From some audience perspectives, this is the worst basketball injury of all time. Playing for the Villanova Wildcats, Alan Ray caught huge media attention by getting an eye injury during a game. While attempting to swipe the ball from Ray, a player ended up raking his eye. The eye was popped out of the socket, visibly bulging from Ray's head. Well, maybe it was Ray's luck that the injury was much better than it looked. While his eye did appear to come out of the socket, this effect was caused by his eyelid being thrown back. The sudden exposure to light and stress from the other player's hand did cause some damage. Luckily, it wasn't that severe. Ray suffered a temporary loss of eyesight and soft tissue damage to the eye. However, he was able to return to the game the following week, leading Villanova to points in that year's finals. This eye injury was the talk of the basketball world for that year, and we still can't forget it.
Carl Krauser, watch Krauser's left hand comes up and inadvertently pokes Alan Ray in the right eye, and we are certainly...
Number 4, Steve Nash's nose injury. Sometimes basketball injuries can be so unusual that it leaves the audience in both pain and shock. We're talking about Steve Nash's nose injury. Sometimes the worst part about an injury isn't watching it happen, it's watching a player suffering that injury after it happens. That's just the case when Steve Nash got popped in the nose by Derek Fisher, leaving him with his nose dangling from his face. Instead of stepping over to the sidelines, taking a seat, and allowing it to get back into place like, a normal person would do, but has he ever done anything normal? Then again, has he ever done anything normal? No, right? Nash just grabs his nose and pops it back in himself just as cameras are getting a close-up of him. If it was so painful for the audience to even watch him, just imagine how painful it was for him. But even with a broken nose, he didn't let his team down. He pushed his nose back in, sunk in 2 final throws, and eventually led his team to victory. That just shows how dedicated Steve is to his team and, of course, basketball itself.
Doing everything to get back in the game, obviously trying to wash out some blood that's gotten in the eyes. That thing it won't stop bleeding.
Number 3, Shaun Livingston's knee injury. Well, enough of these face injuries. Let's take a look at some normal basketball injuries like knees and arms. But if these are normal, then why are they on the list of the worst injuries of all time? Well, it's because sometimes these normal injuries can be so painful and disturbing to even watch, and the best example of this is the Shaun Livingston knee injury. During a game against the Charlotte Bobcats, Los Angeles Clippers guard Shaun Livingston suffered a dislocated left kneecap and tore 3 ligaments when he missed a shot, landed awkwardly, and then snapped his leg. The injury got so bad, the doctors had warned him that the leg might have to be amputated. Livingston's knee bends completely in the opposite direction that knees should, and to make matters even worse, the whole godforsaken thing folds up underneath him. And just like that, a promising career is taken down in its early stages. Poor Livingston had to go in rehab for over a year. His career took a break in the building years, but the best part of it all is that Livingston didn't give up. He managed to make a comeback after over a year and proved that he was born to play basketball and that no injury could stop him from living his dream. That's mighty brave of him indeed.
Really hurt. He dislocated his patella.
Number 2, Andrew Bogut elbow injury. How can we forget Andrew Bogut's elbow on the list of worst injuries? If you're a true basketball fan, you must know about it because it's one of the most famous injuries in basketball history. Bogut's a big guy. He's 7 foot tall and weighs 260 pounds. So imagine the force that was behind his fall to the hardwood. The Milwaukee Bucks center dislocated his right elbow, broke his hand, and sprained his wrist when he crashed to the ground following a slam dunk during a game against the Phoenix Suns. Unfortunately, Bogut continues to confront freak accidents, including a sprained foot, fractured ankle, and high-impact collisions. The good news, however, he always heals and accredits his injuries to a hearty dose of bad luck. He had been through many injuries in his career, but this elbow injury lost him his 2 years. He couldn't play for 2 whole years, but even with this break, Bogut managed to be one of the biggest names of basketball history. Imagine what he could have done if he would have gotten those 2 years. But I suppose everything happens for a reason, right?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Got his wrist. No, his elbow. Oh, it's broken.
Number 1, Marquis Daniels back injury. The last on this list is one of the most painful injuries of all time. Marquis Daniels back injury. In a game against the Orlando Magic, Marquis collided with one of their guards. Falling to the ground, everyone assumed that Daniels was okay and a foul was called. When the next play began, Daniels remained on the floor. It then became evident that something had gone wrong and the arena went silent. Daniels was stretched out only a few minutes later. One of the worst basketball injuries in recent memory. Even today, the suddenness of the injury is breathtaking. Daniels suffered a bruised spine, which is exactly as bad as it sounds. Marquis was able to give fans a quick thumbs up while being stretchered away, but would lose feeling in his arms and legs shortly after. The spinal cord, being the center of the nervous system, can have many unwanted side effects, such as loss of feeling when the spine is injured. Luckily for Marquis, he regained feeling while in the hospital and recovered fully from his injury. Basketball injuries can be difficult even for the viewers. It's tough to watch someone, even someone on the opposing team, getting hurt or losing the precious time of their career because of an injury. Hopefully, we will see more madness and energy and less medicine in the upcoming seasons. Marquis' injury is something that the audience can never forget because it was almost impossible to watch him in this condition. He was in so much pain that he couldn't even carry himself. We just feel bad for him, but he is strong and he came back to the field in just 2 months.
Alors, regardez, il engage, là c'est la tête, contact sur l'épaule. Ouais. Là il est déjà sans défense et il remet une couche sur le plancher.
This brings us to the end of our video, which we hope you guys had a blast breezing through. And if you did, show us your appreciation by smashing that like button, and if you like the content that we put on our channel, then all you have to do is hit that subscribe button down there, as well as smash that bell icon to be notified of when our next video goes up. Until next time, take care and goodbye.